Hey there, YouTube land. Big Dave here. I'm on the roll today because I have a bit of time and I wanted to get a couple videos up. So, being that this is the season now for me where I start to use my fly fishing stuff, I thought I would just show you my bag, which is a really cool bag that I've had for, I don't know, a couple seasons now. Um, and show you a few of the things that I keep in it. And now, one thing I'll tell you right off is that I've been fly fishing maybe for 10 or 15 years. And years ago, I used to use a fly only on a small rod tied behind a bobber, a small bobber. I still do that sometimes today because in some circumstances, it works and it catches fish and it gets you using flies. But I have a couple fly rods, nothing great. One's like a 7 weight. I have a shorter one, which is about, I think it's like 7 foot, and it has, it's like a 5 weight rod. Maybe it's a 4 weight rod. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I have another one that's a midweight. That's the one I cracked that I made another video about. So I might get another midweight rod. That's the one that's in between that and my heavier one. So anyhow, this is my bag. And I know I got it at Dick's Sporting Goods, Field and Stream. It's really not a fly fishing bag. I think it's like a lunch kit or something. But I really, when I saw this, I go, oh yeah, I could put my fly fishing stuff in there. It's canvas, nice. It's got the, I guess this vinyl leather stuff on the outside. But it seems to be durable. It's held up. And this is my own leather strap that's on here. That actually... my wife had some kind of bags that she got, and they had extra straps. So this is a leather strap, and it's got the big hook, so it's really adorable, and it stays. So anyway, when you fly fish, sometimes you're in a stream, or you might be wading. Now, I don't wade too much, but I do in certain areas. And if you've ever gone fly fishing, you know what happens when you drop your stuff. So I don't like to wear the vest and all that stuff. I just carry this bag and my rod. That's it. I'm done. And but the lanyards are like, this is how I do my lanyards. This is a bootlace, and on this particular lanyard, I have my my small needle nose pliers. So in this, even if I have the bag on the ground, there's plenty of length for me to just pick this out, and I have this. Now I know they make elastic lanyards and all that stuff, but for me, I just tie this bootlace on, and I stick it in the front compartment here, and I'm good to go. The other thing is my clippers. I have those on a red lanyard so that I can see it and know where it is. This is not as long, and I don't want it to be super long like the other one. So what I do is I just tuck this in the side of the compartment so that it's there. And then when I'm walking around, I kind of keep this half zippered up so that, I don't drop the stuff out of there. So, and we have two top compartments here, right? And now usually when I go out fly fishing, I take sometimes I take just a small 4-pound line ultralight rod. So I have a few small lures in here and some small grubs that I might stick on that other. This is one of my favorites. Now this is not really fly fishing, but this is for my ultralight rod. This is a Rebel, like a micro minnow or whatever it is. It's very light. It's very small. I don't know, maybe it's a 32nd of an ounce. I don't even know how much it weighs. But it's very light, very small. And in a stream, it's very effective. I also like this small lure for my ultralight stuff. This is a jointed Rapala, but it's the small size. I don't know if this is a size 5. I'm not sure really, to tell you the truth. But it's small. And then these they don't make anymore, but you can still get them around here and there. This is a, and there's two stuck together. This is a Hydrolure, Hydrominnow. And again, in some situations, it's very effective. You throw it on 4-pound line. If I want to throw a fly on the ultralight rod, I use a little tiny bobber like this. And I set it up to throw a couple split shots and then tiny grubs. You know, I find I've already caught like a pretty large carp on this little tiny grub. So, I mean, I know they kind of like the grubs. And I was talking to some young guys yesterday. They were out fishing. They caught a big carp on a 3-inch white grub. So it must be the season. And I also carry these really basic crawfish. And I just put a number 4 hook into this, a regular number 4. I just lead it through and let it stick out the top. And I don't put weight, or I might put a split shot above it. And I just kind of let it fall across the bottom. Especially now when they're going to start, this is early spring still, so when they're going to start to spawn and stuff, the bedding bass and stuff, some of the males will grab that right away. And then I just have some spinners, you know, basic spinners, rooster tail or whatever, and Meps. So I keep this in my fly fishing bag because, like I just said, sometimes I use the small 4-weight with that. And then I have leader material. Now, if I'm doing the stream and the lighter stuff, I use 4-pound leader material. If I'm going for heavier, bigger stuff, I might just use a whole leader of 12-pound. Sometimes I'll go 12 and then 8. I usually time my own leaders. Sometimes I go 8 to 4. Sometimes I go 12-pound mono to 4-pound mono. Once in a while I use fluorocarbon. Not too often though, because I don't find it makes so much difference. And then, of course, the line dressing, if you need it to help the line float better, and float material for if you're using dry flies and you want to keep them active on the top. So you do need to have those little things with you if you're going out. And then in the back compartment, this to me is really important. My good old flashlight, because if I happen to be where it's a little darker all of a sudden and I need to see. And I like this small fly box. I put some of my midge flies and things in here and my smaller patterns. And also it opens up nicely. I don't know who makes this. Flambeau. So, and these to me are like super important to me. This is the one I was talking about. It looks like a bumblebee or like a little bee. This is a floating fly. And then this one here. This is another one of my favorites. Sometimes I have them all black. Sometimes I have with the tail. This is another one that I really like. That one. Most of these are available commercially, or you can. Some people are making themselves. Now the Muddler Minnow. This is another one. I've caught some really good bass on this, and I have a couple of different patterns of this one. So that I find works out really well for me. Woolly bugger. This is if you want to know the name of that, it's a woolly bugger. I don't really know what they call it. I just call it the bee fly. I don't know what it's really called. But the muddlers are a great pattern. And then I have a bigger fly box with some streamers, and I have a big white streamer that has silver, and I caught a nice bass on it yesterday. And then on the other side, some more muddlers, and some other smaller insect patterns. And these, I really like these too. This is the popper flies, but I have other bigger ones. They're in my other box. You know, so and one is tied on my rod. And then I keep an extra reel with me that has a different line material on it. Now, everywhere you fish, you know, of course, your situation is going to be different than mine. And you'll notice I have this woolly bugger on here because it's just, I have to, you know, take it off. This right now, I think is 6-pound leader. And not really sure if I put this, I would have to see if I, no, I just have, because of where I was fishing, I just have this knotted right onto the, you know, the main line. And this is about a 6-pound leader going, maybe it's a 3 foot, 4 foot, no, 3 foot. It's like a 3 foot leader going to the fly. And again, every area is different. So where I am doing a certain thing, you know, I don't want a leader that's terribly long because of certain circumstances where I am. But this is a different line. And I don't have too much backing on here either. I just pull out the line that I need and use it. My other one is filled up more, has more backing on it. There is some backing in here, not much though. You know, maybe there's 20 yards of backing. I'll never get into that backing when I'm using this particular situation. But I like, this is a weight forward line, floating line. And I think it's 6-weight line, and my other one is 5-weight, and it's not, it's neutral. It's not weight forward. Usually I use weight forward though, and I think if you're like a beginner and you're just doing this, that the weight forward floating is probably the way to go. You know, I don't really want to get into like, you can watch fly fishing videos, and the problem with them is they show you so much stuff that it's hard to get a grip on all these different things, you know. So like if I am talking to somebody who's just starting fly fishing or just starting in that vein, I just tell them, look, get yourself like a weight forward, medium size line, 5-6 weight, 4 weight if it's going to be lighter stuff, and the weight forward floating line, and start to deal with that. When you figure that out, then you can go to another kind of line. And line is expensive too. So, and I have sinking line, but, so that's my little bag, and really that's all I carry. And it works great for me. It's light, and everything I need, I can go up and down my areas. Sometimes I will carry more flies, and I have other fly boxes that have different flies and other flies. So listen, thanks for tuning in, and I hope this is useful to you in some way. And we'll talk again. Thanks. Bye-bye.